Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go!
On 2013, my boyfriend moved to Philippines in order to study nursing. He ended up going to the university in my province. We met, became friends, and started dating. By 2015, I was a recent graduate, but he failed one course, which prompted him to move back to the US. It was heartbreaking, but we knew it was for the best. His mom had booked a ticket for him 3 months prior to his first day for a cheaper flight. The day rolled in, and I told him to contact me if he gets into any sort of trouble. We said our goodbyes and kissed one last time because we wouldn't be able to see each other in person for a really long time. 2 hours had passed and I see his text saying that he was in a pickle. I called him and asked what's wrong. He explained to me that the lady in immigration, whom we shall refer to as Lee, wouldn't give him back his papers because he overstayed. I asked if she took all of his documents and he responded that she did. His passport, his school documents, and so on. I told him to explain he has dual citizenship so she can't say he overstayed in the country. Lee said he doesn't know any better. I asked him what she wanted, and my blood boiled when I heard she wants me to pay a fee of 5,000 Philippine peso, which was around $100 at time, if I wanted my papers back, but I won't be able to leave the country. Lee wanted to swindle my boyfriend. This was very common. I hope it doesn't happen anymore, but I don't know. And my boyfriend had to be the poor victim in her scheme. I was stressing out because his flight was in 3 hours and she was making things extremely difficult for him. One fun fact about my boyfriend is that his dad used to work for that airport. He worked there for a long time and is really good friends with the staff. They were also my boyfriend's godparents at his baptism. I called his mom, whom I had met months after we started dating. I love his mom to bits, she's cool, and told her what happened. Of course, she was as livid as I was and told her husband about their son's predicament. His dad called one of the aforementioned buddies and requested assistance from my boyfriend. While this transpired, Lee was still trying to persuade my boyfriend to pay the fine rather than facing jail time. My boyfriend already knew about our plans on helping him, so he refused and said he's fine. A few minutes later, the head of immigration office came out and instructed her to bring my boyfriend to their office. He was surprised but complied. My boyfriend, I swear he's a lost pup, sat to one of their seats and just read stuff on his phone. Lee looked smug, probably thinking boyfriend was some sort of criminal that she probably won the jackpot or something, and suddenly the door opened and a stream of managers, supervisors, or the head of different departments in the airport entered the room and greeted the boyfriend warmly, remarked on how grown up he was, and asked if he remembers him and so on. The head honcho of immigration, aka Lee's boss, entered the room and told a story on how he would babysit the boyfriend when he was a little boy. At this point, you can imagine Lee freaking the hell out. My boyfriend missed his original flight but was able to take back his papers and documents and go back to California because his mom booked a later flight on the same day but pricey. A week passed, and his dad told me that Lee was fired immediately for extortion. Lee is no longer viable to apply for any government jobs. This didn't happen to me, it happened to my sister. My sister moved up to South Carolina from Florida about a year ago, but she still visits us periodically. We're a big and close family. Shortly after Thanksgiving, she flew down with her husband and son for one such visit. She has 3 geriatric dogs, so she got a house and dog sitter. My sister went through the basics of how they can only be fed at certain times, they get let out at certain times, they need to be in their crates from X hour to Z hour. Most importantly, they don't get treats. They get vitamins in place of treats. But those vitamins have to be given only twice a day. No people food. Very strict diets. They are all happy and healthy, but only because my sister is so strict with her regime. This lady, she got to watch her dogs had stellar reviews on a site she was found through. She's a stay-at-home mom who does this as a side thing for extra cash. I feel like I can end it here, and you all can guess where this is going. My sister left for Florida for a week. The first 5 days, everything is going well. The dog sitter texts my sister regularly or video calls. She shows my sister pictures and gives her regular updates of when she comes and goes to my sister's house. Sister just bought that house, by the way. She's been working her butt off to finally be able to afford it. She put so much into making that a nice home for her family. My sister has some health problems herself. She's got a ton of prescription medication in her medicine cabinet. She brought enough for the week, but left the rest at home. Stuff for epilepsy, asthma, and allergies. But she's also got a ton of painkillers from when she had my nephew not that long ago. She's paranoid about becoming addicted, so she kept the pills for safety and never used them. It's a full bottle. On top of that, she's been a collector of rare beer for about 15 years now. Beer that's not even sold anymore because they were promotional from microbreweries. Beer she can't get anymore because she doesn't live in Florida. Those bottles she keeps as mostly decoration in her kitchen. On the 6th day of her vacation, the dog sitter stops all communication altogether. My sister texts, calls, emails, nothing. Radio silence. She's got a bad feeling, but she doesn't want to kill the mood because she doesn't get to see her family very often anymore. Day 7, she gets on a late flight back to South Carolina. The plane gets there around 2 in the morning. They drive an hour to the rural town and they get home. The front door is wide open. The lawn looks like someone in a truck, which a dog sitter happened to drive, just tried to go drifting over grass before vacating the premises super quick. My sister goes to handle my nephew, who is groggy and screaming. It's been a rough day. She's thinking the worst. Someone robbed the house while this poor lady was there. My sister's husband goes inside to survey the damages. It's all clear. My sister and nephew go inside too. The back door is wide open. The couch looks like it exploded. The rug in the living room and the couch and pretty much every square foot on the bottom floor is covered in the canopy and poop that can only be made from 3 furry buttholes. The dogs are thankfully still in the backyard, but they are shivering and filthy. There are broken beer bottles everywhere. Some have been stuffed deep in the trash to hide the evidence, some have been refilled with water and put back with their tops precariously situated on top so they might look like they haven't been touched. 82 bottles, each growler size, roughly 64 ounces, gone. The medicine cabinet is like one of those western ghost towns with a tumbleweed bouncing through. My sister is already thinking this dog sitter threw herself a party. No way in heck could someone 5'6", 170 pounds, drink that much beer and take that many pills and not be dead. My sister called the cops. Obviously, the police got there to figure this must be a break-in. They take a bunch of pictures, take account of all the bottles and drugs that were missing. My sister cleans what she can, but gets to sleep because thankfully the upstairs hasn't been touched. 1 day later, the police find a dog sitter. My sister has assumed she's dead, then abducted. So the police were looking for her and her car. They found the truck run off the side of a highway, with this lady about 2 miles up tweaking out of her mind, walking along the side of the road, screaming at nothing. They take her in for whatever charges, I don't know, her husband bails her out and picks her up. According to her husband, this has happened before. The dog sitter has a drug and alcohol problem. At first, she is messaging my sister, super apologetic, saying that she will reimburse my sister and please don't press charges. My sister quotes her the price of the rug and the vet bills because her dogs had somehow gained access to 9 containers of doggy vitamins and one of them was having liver failure. The dog is fine now, but she's an old Yorkie, so who knows. Also, my sister buys in bulk from a wholesaler, hence 9 containers. The total was somewhere around $800. My sister didn't bother with the beers, the meds, the lawn, cleaning the house. She could have. Heck, I would have. On top of that, my sister demanded the dog sitter to never dog sit again, and she had to refund my sister for her dog sitting. My sister works in advertising. I won't say what kind, but basically if she saw/sees a dog sitter advertising herself as a dog sitter ever again, she has the means to drag this lady until all she sees is mud for the rest of her life. The dog sitter insists she is gonna pay it back, but that my sister has to wait until they give their taxes back. Okay, so my sister waits. Late February, she texts the dog sitter asking where her money is. The dog sitter immediately starts saying how she didn't do anything wrong. My sister is a bad dog owner and her dogs are miserable. None of the stuff my sister says the dog sitter did was actually done. My sister has all the old texts of the dog sitter admitting to all of it, so this goes on for a while. Eventually, the dog sitter starts saying that how, as a courtesy, she has a friend who owns a furniture store, she will give my sister a credit of $200 for a new couch. And she has an old rug she doesn't want anymore that my sister can have. What? She paid my sister about $500 but insists she will get the coupon to my sister soon. March goes by and nothing. Around March 20th, my sister marches her happy pot to the small claims court and files. Then she snaps pictures of everything. Then she sends the dog sitter the message. As a courtesy, I'm letting you know that I just filed this at the small claims court. Then the fun starts. This lady goes off on my sister. She says she's going to sue for slander and undue stress and harassment and blah 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 blah. My sister saves all of it, including the fun bits where the dog sitter threatens her family and calls her the C word 20 dozen times. Today is what, April 6th? Tuesday was a court date. Things move fast in a small town, I don't know. This lady shows up looking like she just got run through by a garbage disposal. She gives a judge her sob story talking about how she did nothing but give my sister and her animals the best care, and my sister is making all this up. Yeah, my sister has an OG cop with her. She's got pictures of all the damage, the vet bills, the bottles, proof that she was out of town, police reports about the break-in, as well as a dog sitter's DYI the following day. The dog sitter tries to spin it with that one law about how you can't serve alcohol to a known alcoholic. That obviously gets thrown right the hell out. The dog sitter then tries to appeal to the judge, my sister's sense of humanity, tells him how her husband just left her and is suing her for a full custody. Good. And that if she can't dog sit, how is she supposed to support herself or ever get her kids back? Tough cookies. And the judge takes my sister's side. For obvious reasons, come on. Dog sister is homeless now, living with her parents. She can't see her kids, who by the way don't want to see her. Apparently she was a drunk who ran her hobby's credits all the way down. She was abusive to her kids, and because of her heavy alcohol abuse, one of her kids has fetal alcohol syndrome. The dog sitter has 60 days to pay the remaining $300 or she faces jail time. I don't know how much time, sorry. Her husband filed for divorce already. Oh, and she lost her license thanks to that DWI. As a former addict myself and someone who's been through a DWI, I want to sympathize. That's a lot of stuff to go through. My sister gave her chance after chance, but at some point, you have to take responsibility for your actions. It really seems like this lady has just been using her husband as a crutch while she tries to get better, only to backslide hard. It's rough, I know. I hope she gets the help she needs. My sister dogs are doing well. She got a replacement couch on Amazon for like $75 and a nice fluffy rug for even less. The dog sitter eventually coughed up that coupon. It didn't even work. It was for something like 20% off with a purchase of $500 or more. So, no thanks. I have a really good one here. Before I begin, I should inform you that, for whatever reason, our school has something that students like to call a stalker book, containing the names, addresses, and phone numbers of the parents of the child. This story all begins at the beginning of 8th grade. We had just been told where to sit because the teacher was strict, so no free seating. I was sitting next to a kid named B, the bully, who was a total jerk. I was a grade ahead because I'm very smart, so naturally, I was smaller and weaker than all the other boys. The bully would shove books off my desk, hit me, and shove in the hallways, and just be a total jerk in general. In the middle of the year, I decided I had enough of him. Now this was a mainly black middle school, so I could not go to the principal and tell, because that would be the end of it, so I did the socially acceptable thing and fought him. I fought him and it was broken up before I could get a good shot in, but I took a tooth and he gave me a solid shiner. We were called to the office and since he had to catch a bus, we were told to come in first thing in the morning. I came in and he did the same with his mom, trailing behind him. We explained the situation, and in the middle of me explaining all the taunting that had led to this, his mom cut me off, dismissing all that I said as lies. The bully chimed in saying that I had made fun of his parents' divorce and his stepdad. This took me by surprise, and the bully and his mother gave a twin smirk as I was suspended. I had to walk home crying as my mom was at work. My only solace was that she wasn't mad, and to top it all off, I had got a Snapchat posted by none other than a bully that showed a picture of me crying saying, "What a witch." That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Now I was mad. No, I was furious. And my suspension was focused on destroying him and his mother's life because my mind put her at fault for just dismissing months of torment. After a day, I had come up with a perfect plan. Using the school stalker book, I found her name and address and went to work. A quick Google search of her name brought me to her Facebook and I downloaded some photos. I made a Tinder account listing her as only looking for hookups and invited some guys over when I knew Step Happy would be home. Keep in mind that bully really loved his man, and he was sending him to this prestigious school and they were a picturesque family. Around a week after my plan, the bully moved and rumors started circulating around saying that his stepdad divorced his mom and went to jail. As it turned out, he had a warrant for his arrest for not paying child support. I got rid of a bully, put a felon in jail, and ruined a horrible woman's life. To know why I did what I have done, you must know the backstory. I'm a good tenant, I like paying rent early, and I keep the house clean. I don't punch holes in walls or slam doors on purpose, or do anything to deliberately cause harm to the house. I rented the house for a year, not in an HOA, but right out of the gate, the landlord was giving bad vibes. Flat out told me he refused to renew a lease because they didn't keep the lawn mowed, but we needed a place. Who are we, you ask? Well, me, my significant other, and my mother, who I've been taking care of for about a decade. The landlord never properly fixed things that needed fixing, and the house wasn't even properly cleaned when I moved in. There was still kitty litter on the floors, for crying out loud. I only asked him to fix 2 things the entire time we were there, and both times I practically had to beg him. I even offered to pay for someone to fix it myself and he said no, and still refused to fix it. But none of this deserves revenge. It's a sign of a bad landlord, but that's standard. No. It was when one of the most traumatic events of my life happened. I found out my mom passed away one morning. There were cops and crime scene techs on property. Despite everything, we were working with the victim services rep to figure out how to tell the landlord. At the same time, apparently our neighbors, who were also renting from the same landlord, had informed him that something happened, and that there were crime scene techs on scene. So what does this respectful good landlord do? On the worst day of my life, call us repeatedly until someone answered, including my mother. I was still talking to the police. Screw you, dude. Just screw you right up your bum, sir. Now, it's important to note the electric was in my mom's name. We split the bills up evenly to make her feel safe. She had trust issues and trauma. I was not listed on the account. Didn't think I needed to be. It was a pain in the behind to get the electric turned off. They needed a death certificate, which I get. I thought that when the contract expired, it would turn off. I was wrong. Or that the landlord would get the electric turned back on in his name, which he should have. I was wrong on both counts. I found out about this last week. This weekend, we had a big hard freeze here. I got the electric turned off the day before the freeze hit. And since he doesn't live there, and of course no one is touring homes in freezing weather, the likelihood of them finding out it was off anytime soon is very, very low. Dear sir, I hope the way you treated us was worth it. I hope the extra couple months of free electricity was worth it, and I sincerely hope your pipes freeze and burst, sir.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.